Now I'll move into his Vedic astrology. So we'll look at his chart. Here's his chart right here. I'll just explain what I see right here so you guys know what's going on, what all these placements are. So this is the North Indian style chart of Vedic astrology. I only use Vedic astrology. I don't do Western because the tropical zodiac that Western uses is the inaccurate calculation. Everything that's calculated in your Western chart is 24 degrees ahead of its actual placements. So if you want to see what your actual placements are, like where in what constellations your planets are in, you have to look at the sidereal zodiac of Vedic astrology. And I just like Vedic astrology because it has such a deep history and there's a lot more to it. It's much more advanced, has a lot more different characteristics than like different features and stuff than what Western has. So it's really the more advanced system. So yeah, you have to look at sidereal zodiac if you want to see what the positions really are. So this is his sidereal Vedic chart. This is all the placements. So in the North Indian style chart, this top diamond is the first house. That's the ascendant. And then you count along the edges. So it's first house, second house, third house, fourth house, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th. And so these numbers in here are the different signs. So he's a Cancer ascendant because it's the fourth sign. So going around the edges is first house is Cancer, second house is Leo, third house is Virgo, fourth house is Libra, fifth is Scorpio, sixth is Sagittarius, seventh is Capricorn, eighth is Aquarius, ninth is Pisces, 10th is Aries, 11th is Taurus, and 12th is Gemini. So his Saturn is in the first house, Rahu's in the third, Moon is in the 8th, K2 is in the 9th, Mars and Venus are in the 10th, and his Mercury, Jupiter, and Sun are in the 11th. So I'll explain each of these positions in a little bit more detail. So like I was saying, his ascendant is Cancer. It's ruled by the moon, and so this means that he's actually learning about the nature of emotions in his life. That's because his ascendant is in Cancer, which is a water sign, really emotional. To make him peaceful, kind, romantic, gentle, changeable, and fickle. It seeks perfection. Skills are best used in the material realm. It's very aware of money and deals with finance as well. So that's the ascendant. His ascendant is in a nakshatra called Pushya. The nakshatras are like sub-constellations inside the signs. So this is inside Cancer, but it's a sub-constellation, and it's ruled by Saturn. It means the nourisher or the nurturer. So what it's about is it's about preserving, protecting, replenishing, multiplying, and strengthening. It's the enjoyment of wealth and prosperity. So it's associated with wealth. So we'll get more into that because his chart talks about wealth quite a lot. So this is interesting. His sun is in Taurus. So if you look at this chart, Sun is in the second sign, Taurus. In Western, he comes out as a Gemini, but that's actually the wrong calculation, like I was saying. So he's not a Gemini like he thinks. He thinks he's a Gemini. He didn't know that tropical is wrong. So he actually has no planets in Gemini. He's not a Gemini at all. He's got 3 planets in Taurus, actually. So Taurus is a lot stronger for him. And just think about it. I mean, he's totally a Taurus. It's ruled by Venus. It's sensual and artistic, sensitive to the beautiful things in life. People who have Sun and Taurus are involved in beauty or fashion industry, arts, music, finances, all that. So that's funny because that's everything he does. I mean, he's involved in the fashion industry. he does create, he creates music, and he deals with finances. I mean, Taurus is an earth sign, so it does deal with finances and wealth. So, he's a wealthy guy. He's a billionaire, so he's the richest fucking rapper there is right now. So yeah, so he's totally Taurus. His sun is in the nakshatra Mrigashira, which is in Taurus. It does go into Gemini too, but it's a little bit different in how it expresses itself in Gemini. But it's ruled by Mars, and it means to seek, investigate, pursue, and inquire. The mind and intellect is restless, always searching, sensitive, and emotional. So I know some Mrigashira people. I have some friends that have the sun or other planets in Mrigashira. And what I noticed for them is it's about, like I was saying, it's always searching, always seeking. So the focus for them is not finding, it's about always seeking for things. But they find stuff that they like to collect, essentially. So for him, it's like, it makes sense because he's really interested in fashion, and he's always seeking for the newest thing. So I can see, like, he's collecting clothing and stuff like that. Like, I have friends that like to collect things, and so it makes a lot of sense for him being in Mrigashira. So his sun is in the 11th house. So like I was saying here, you can look. This is the 10th. This is the 11th. 11th house, having the sun in the 11th house means dream big, never lose sight of what you want to accomplish, considers long-term goals, works hard to turn major dreams into reality, and you gain in power and leadership with age. So yeah, the 11th house is associated with gains. So I'll talk more about that with the other planets that go into this house too. But so that's the sun in the 11th house. So the sun is ruling the 2nd house and is in the 11th. So if we look at his chart, 2nd house has Leo there. It's the sign, and it's in the 11th. And what's really cool about this is what I've noticed is people that are really wealthy, like Trump has this too. They actually have a connection between their 2nd house and their 11th house, which is interesting because it comes out that way. A lot of people are wealthy when these are connected. And the reason why that is because the 2nd house is wealth and the 11th house is gains. So you're just basically gaining in wealth, the two together just create that combination. So it's the best position for wealth. He makes large sums of money, easy gains, and earns through a wide variety of means. So it's true, he does earn through a wide variety of means because he has his music and he has his clothing and he has all this different stuff that he does. So it does really apply to him. So let's look at his moon now. His moon's at Aquarius, which is ruled by Saturn. It's socially conscious, concerned with serving humanity and caring for society. People with moon in Aquarius can be found as part of a team or group of friends, or at music events and spiritual groups. So for him, groups of friends is a big thing because he's got 3 planets in the 11th house is one thing, that's friends. Aquarius does also align with the 11th house because it's the 11th sign. So that's why there's some similar energy dealing with groups of friends. But it also says music events, so that really applies to him because he's a musician. And spiritual groups, which is interesting too because he does have his Sunday church choir group, and he's got his albums like Jesus is King, and so he has a little bit of a spiritual side that he has with his groups, kind of spiritually oriented groups. So that's interesting. His moon's in the nakshatra Purva Bhadra, which is Jupiter. It means beautiful, auspicious, blessed, gracious, or happy. Blessings come from good deeds from past lives. So maybe that's why he's in the goal of flow, like I was saying from Michael teachings. That he's getting some blessings from maybe hard work from past lives, essentially. It's good luck and fortune, wealth, good family, excellent relationships, and wonderful children. So that's the significations of Purva Bhadra. So this is interesting. His moon is in the 8th house. And the 8th house is a very spiritual house. It's a moksha house, which just deals with enlightenment. Actually signifies a tremendous spiritual talent and metaphysical abilities. So I don't really know in terms of his metaphysical abilities, but this is what it's saying. I'll just read the rest of this. It's saying that he could be extraordinarily intuitive or psychic and be deeply interested in metaphysics or research fields. I can see the research for him, like he really delves deep into probably his producing and stuff like that. So research could apply there. But the interesting thing about this is it makes you really emotionally sensitive. So basically, if you have Moon in the 8th house, you feel everything very deeply. You're overly sensitive and have continual emotionally painful experiences. It actually says that one's fortune and well-being are harmed. Peace of mind is disturbed, may have a weak or wavering mind. So what I noticed with him is he does get really sensitive to things. Like he's really set off by everything and feels like everyone is hating on him or whatever. So you see how he emotionally responds to things in terms of his sensitivity. So that aspect really does fit. But yeah, it's a deep and like spiritual, it's very sensitive placement. So that could explain why he has the emotional responses that he has, because he just feels everything so deeply and is overly sensitive because of the placement of his moon. So the moon rules the 1st house because Cancer is there. Cancer rules the moon. Moon is ruled by Cancer. Sorry, Cancer is ruled by the moon. So, and it's in the 8th house. So it's connecting the 1st house to the 8th house. So what this means is he could have low confidence, poor self-image, little self-respect, hardships, suffering, unhappy childhood, or poor start in life, which could apply. But there's other significations that kind of go against this based on his chart. So we'll explain that too when I get there. It actually says that there's a great need to release Kundalini energy to strive towards higher consciousness. So that's just an interesting thing to think about. How this is aligned with Kundalini energy somehow. So let's move on to his Mercury. His Mercury is also in the 11th house, like his Sun and his Jupiter. Up here, Mercury. So what this means is really fulfill major desires and lifelong goals, which may involve media and communications or knowledge and intellectual accomplishments. So those are all significations of Mercury, because Mercury is like communications and knowledge. So that's what his goals are related to, and major desires, because that's what 11th house is. It's major desires and goals. So also means loves being with intelligent, refined, or stimulating friends. He may supplement his main source of income in various different ways and be especially adept in business, commerce, or trade, which is really true. He does supplement his main source of income in various different ways, which is why he's the richest rapper right now, because he doesn't, the other rappers are just rapping, but he's creating products and stuff, But yeah, it does relate to, he does relate to the media and communications for sure, because music is a form of media and communication and he's a rapper, so he's actually communicating when he's talking. So rapping. So yeah, that's his Mercury. So his Mercury rules the 3rd house and is in the 11th house. So if you look up at the 3rd house here, that's the 6th sign, Virgo, and Mercury is in the 11th. So the 3rd house is connected to the 11th. And what that means is daily and long-term goals are fulfilled, efforts are successful, gains from investments, and fine arts or literary field. Those are significations of the 3rd house. And gains is the 11th house, so that's why gains, investments, in fine arts or literary field. Arts really apply to more in this case. Good adventures, so that's interesting because adventure was one of his needs in Michael teachings. Plentiful energy and success in side ventures. Again, more side venture stuff, and you got success in that sense, so that does apply. This one is kind of goes against what I've been seeing other places, so it's not as, I don't think it's as strong of a significator as the others, but we'll still read it anyway. There could be problems with friends. So yeah, 12th house has Gemini there, so that's why 12th house and 11th house are connected, because Mercury rules Gemini, so that's why it's 12th and 11th. But friends may pursue enlightenment is the signification of that, because 12th house is enlightenment and 11th is friends. I can't really confirm that. I don't know about how many people that he has in his life that pursue enlightenment. They're more of it in the media world, I would say, than spiritual enlightenment. But it says he cannot fulfill major goals and ambitions. There's financial losses, problems with children, bad investments, and mental problems. He does experience financial losses sometimes, and he does have some mental problems. So he's been bankrupt before, probably because he went on a manic episode and spent a shit ton of money. So the mental problems fits with his bipolar. You could say that could be related to that. But he definitely does fulfill his major goals and ambitions, because there's like several significations of that say that, because he has all these planets in the 11th house and all these connections to gains and stuff. So this is kind of counteracted by the other stuff. So this is really interesting. We'll look at his Venus now. His Venus is in the 10th house. You can see right here, Venus. And 10th is career and social standing and your profession. So he's got Venus energy there. So what this means is life is easy and sweet, very lucky in career. Profession focuses on bringing joy and happiness to public, which is through his music, in this case. Common placement for successful actors, artists, musicians, and performers, which is what he is. He is a musician and performer. So people with this placement may make a living through working with luxuries like beautiful clothing, which he does. It could be jewelry, arts and crafts, fine cars, all the fine things, this totally applies to him. I mean, he's involved in the fashion industry and shoes and stuff like that. So this really does apply to him really well. Also means that you're adored by the public, makes lucky contacts with people through their profession. Associations with women are favored, adored by the female public. Has a happy relationship with mother, and that's the signification because it aspects the 4th house, which is 4th house is mother. So he's got that Venus stuff influencing that. So that's cool. It really right here shows what's going on with his career and stuff. It totally applies to Venus stuff. So it's really interesting. Venus is ruling the 11th house and is in the 10th. So you can see here Taurus, which is ruled by Venus, is in the 11th, and Venus is in the 10th. So what this creates is his career involves friends and groups. This is true. He works with so many people in his music. Prosperous, many career opportunities. So you can see this is going against what I was saying earlier. Wealthy, many comforts, performs good deeds. So that kind of counteracts the negativity that we saw with Mercury ruling the 12th and being in the 11th. Very prosperous. So his Venus is also ruling the 4th and is in the 10th. So you can see Libra is in his 4th house, and Venus rules Libra. So this is interesting because Venus is in the 10th house and it's aspecting the 4th house. So it's aspecting its own sign. So that's actually a strong placement. So again, here we go. A strong and successful career, political power, respected by powerful people, maybe a ruler or leader, maybe famous. So that's interesting. He did run for president. I don't really see this as strong for him as his music and his, the Venus-related significations that he has. But it's still there. He could have, he is respected by powerful people. So there's a chance of being a leader. I mean, and he is a leader in some sense. And he's helped a lot of different musicians with their career and becoming established and all that. And he is famous, so that really does apply. It says his mother is career-oriented or famous. This is because mother is 4th house, career is 10th house, so mother is connected to career. And he was really close to his mother for a long time, until she died. So this is the significations of that. And I guess she is famous now because he's got 2 albums named after her, Donda. And he brought her into the spotlight when he was starting to become successful. So we'll look at his Mars now. His Mars is in the 10th, and it's in the sign of Aries. So it's actually in a good placement because Mars rules Aries. So it's in its own sign. But Mars in the 10th means great career, brings wealth. Here we go again with the wealth and the fame, power, all that again. May become ruler, commander, or leader of men. So because Mars is there, maybe these significations can apply to, politics, potentially. So he is taking on leadership positions for sure in terms of what he's doing. But that's interesting to see that he may become ruler, commander, leader of men. There's some significations of this in his human design too, which we'll talk about. And he's a king, so being a ruler is or leader is like what the king is all about. So, and it's aggressive, tremendous strength to defeat any opponent or competitor, and he's super competitive. Succeeds in undertakings, fulfills personal desires with ease. He's proficient in his profession, enjoys great success and achievement, highly ambitious and successful, and does well with computer technology because Mars is associated with that, with computer technology. So yeah, Mars in the 10th really does align with the king kind of energy in terms of him being a ruler of some kind, leader of men. So that's cool. And like I was saying, the 10th, Mars rules the 10th and is in the 10th because it's in Aries. So again, this means successful career, respected or famous, prosperous, honors from prominent persons, wealthy, and it's a good position for powerful dharma, which means like duty in life. So you see this, he just has all this stuff. He's going to be famous, successful career, big gains, all this stuff. It just keeps on coming up. So Mars is ruling the 5th because Scorpio is there and it's in the 10th. So this is connecting the 5th house to the 10th house. It means a prominent career, fame, again. His past life credit is connected to career. So this is interesting because maybe he was since his goal is flow in Michael teachings, he might be getting past life credit connected to his career in terms of being supported along that. So he's kind of destined to have a successful career in this life based on all of his past actions and what is due to him in this life, essentially. So that's pretty cool. See, this past life, past life credit is associated with the 5th house, and career is the 10th house. So that's why it says that he has past life credit connected to career. Has happiness from children, performs good deeds, and gains from eminent people. So that's it for his Mars. Let's look at his Jupiter. Jupiter's in the 11th house with Sun and Mercury. Means succeeds quickly, gains wealth in any way that you desire. Again, more wealth stuff. Makes large sums of money through side ventures. Again, more money. Fulfills major desires and lifelong goals, which may be related to religious, spiritual, knowledge-oriented pursuits. So, he does have this spiritual, religious tint to his, his music and stuff. It's a theme in some of his albums and stuff, so that does apply. He's very sociable, has friends across the globe, which is true. Benefits from friends who are knowledgeable, spiritual, or wealthy. Loves to dance. That's interesting. It says that. Maybe he does. Talented in the arts. Has a fun-filled life. So that's all very positive stuff. More gains, more wealth, benefits from friends and stuff. So that's pretty cool. So Jupiter rules the 6th. Sagittarius is in the 6th house. Jupiter's in the 11th. Means that he works with friends and groups. The 6th house is work. Friends and groups is the 11th. Profitable jobs, good health. 6th house is health. So that's the significations of that connection of rulerships. Jupiter rules the 9th. Pisces is in the 9th, and Jupiter's in the 11th, so that's why there's a connection there, 9th and 11th. Religious or spiritual friends, again, he's got that religious connection. Happiness from friends, special or influential friends. Countless opportunities, great wealth, fulfills ambitions and desires. Good intelligence, fine children, and successful investments. So it's just more and more of the same stuff, It keeps on saying he's going to be very successful. There's going to be some religious connection to his music that he's doing and all this stuff. We'll just continue. His Saturn is in the 1st house, which can actually weaken confidence and self-esteem. So he must work on confidence and self-love. And I think the influence that his mom had on him did help him with his confidence. But maybe he did struggle this when he was younger, and he might be working through it. But yeah, so his mom taught him to be really confident, and that's why he says, "I'm the greatest," and you are too. You should believe the same thing. You're the greatest. Stuff like that. But Saturn in the 1st house means that you've probably misused your ego in past lives. So you're kind of Saturn weakens your confidence being in the 1st house because it's like right on your that's yourself, your body. So that's probably why he's had to work on self-love. That's probably something that's he's struggling with or has struggled with. It can make you responsible, humble, disciplined, and strong morals, but I think the other significations he has well, yeah, I guess he is disciplined, so that does apply. He may become a leader. That's another aspect of this too. Saturn does signify leadership, especially in the 1st house. And this aspect's the 10th house too, so it is related to his career. So leadership is another thing. So this is interesting. His Saturn Rules the 7th house and is in the first. His Capricorn is in the 7th house, and Saturn's in the first. So 7th house is connected to the first house. So this creates a strong connection to your partnerships, like your relationships, your marriage, and stuff like that. This signifies a strong bond with spouse, beautiful or wealthy spouse, successful partnerships, strong desires and passions, and good sex life. So, I mean, he's divorced now, so that didn't really work out. But beautiful or wealthy spouse did really apply for him and Kim Kardashian. I can see the strong desires and passions. Don't know about his sex life, but sure. It says it's good, so we'll just trust that. He's got some more significations of low confidence because Saturn rules the 8th. 8th is actually a Dhisthana, which is a bad house. So, see, Aquarius, which was ruled by Saturn, is in the 8th, and Saturn first. So, this means low confidence, poor self-image, unhealthy, poor appearance, hardships in life, difficult childhood. So you can see this kind of goes against the other stuff a little bit, but maybe he did have some hard times at the beginning. So the confidence is interesting because it says he has low confidence, but then he actually is pretty overconfident a lot of the time. But so let's look at his Rahu now. Rahu's in the 3rd house. Let's look right here. Rahu is in the 3rd house in the sign Virgo. Means it makes him adventurous, excited, motivated, courageous, strong-willed, determined, and powerful. Efforts and desires are fulfilled. He's brimming with energy, enthusiasm, and life. This creates intense cravings for expressions in the fine arts. Makes him talented and creative. Maybe a powerful actor, producer, or director. Great talent in music, dance, or drama. And has a powerful, distinctive voice. So, 3rd house is, that's the music, dance, and drama. All these are the significations of the 3rd house. Rahu is what you're moving towards in this life, what you're craving to experience. So, it's what you're moving towards. So, that stuff really does all apply to him, especially the fine arts, creativity, talent, energy, courage, all that does really apply to him. So his Rahu is actually in Virgo, and what they say is that Virgo is the best placement for Rahu because Rahu kind of acts like Virgo. I mean, it's really connected to the material world. Like Rahu is about experiencing the material so you can move to the higher spiritual realms, but it's really focused on the material. So Virgo is an earth sign. What this means is he fulfills the divine plan through actively participating in the material world. It can actually create deep dissatisfaction dealing with the material world. There could be, like, more successful he becomes, the greater the feeling of emptiness he might be experiencing. So the way to solve that is to treat every task as an expression of divinity. But yeah, so that's actually a strong placement, though, being in Virgo. So his K2, which is opposite his Rahu, always opposite because they're connected. So his K2 is in the 9th house in Pisces. And Rahu is in the 3rd house in Virgo because they're opposite. So this means that he's kind of disconnected from the 9th house significations, which is philosophy and religion in some sense. So this could be a little interest in actual philosophy. But he could do very well with metaphysical and psychic subjects, which is interesting. So his moon being in the 8th house was kind of giving some psychic significations too. So that's interesting that it's saying that here. Could experience difficulties with father, because 9th house is father, who may be weird or strange. And weird or strange is significations of K2. So I don't know much about his dad, but he's not really in the picture as much as his mom. So I think he had some harder times dealing with his dad. So maybe this does really apply to his dad. So that's interesting. Ketu in Pisces means that he was actually concerned with search for enlightenment in past lives. Because Pisces is like the spiritual and enlightenment related stuff. He can be so idealistic and spiritual that he finds it hard to live in the world of matter. So he does have some spiritual significations, you know. It's a little bit in his chart, but he's moving more towards grounded, earth-oriented stuff like Virgo. So that's everything in his chart, in his Vedic astrology chart. So what we can say there is, I mean, he has a lot of significations for the arts, being a leader and a ruler, being very successful, making a lot of money, having a lot of friends, you know, so all those things, wealth, finances, creativity, fashion industry, music, performance, all that stuff. All these placements are saying all those themes. Struggling with confidence a little bit, having a very sensitive mind. So also other things that was said. So that's his Vedic astrology chart.